My friend asked me to be her bridesmaid and I'm not sure how to respond. We have been friends for about 4 years. After a traumatic event playing sports, neck injury/face injury, she helped me get back into a sport I loved. She was very patient, positive and kind. She was initially my trainer/coach but eventually became my friend as well. Earlier this year in January, I paid her for 4 lessons but I only received 1. She had a whole schedule planned out, but she canceled. After I paid in advance. I had been paying in advance for 3 years so I had no reservations at the time. I had to cancel twice due to issues out of my control and she canceled 2 to 3 times. Then, her truck broke down and she lives 1.5 hours away now so I just figured it would get fixed soon. I reached out in like August and asked if she planned to come out for any additional lessons and she said her truck was still broken. When I asked her to pay back the $150, she said she didn't have the money to pay me back. Meanwhile, she has worked all summer and has gone to competitions, but told me she could barely afford to pay her bills. I was hurt for a long time, but less hurt now. However, we haven't had a meaningful conversation in over 6 months. We have sent videos back and forth which sometimes we reply, sometimes she doesn't. I got a random text message 2 days ago of her asking me to be a bridesmaid. She said she sent a gift/ask in the mail but it got lost so she texted me instead. My partner says I will regret it more if I don't do it but I'm not so sure. TLDR, a previously good friend asked me to be their bridesmaid and I don't feel excited about it. How do I respond? Edit, I clarified with my partner and they said that's how I would feel, you have to decide for yourself. Edit, I'm not going to do it. It was helpful for me to write this out so I could think about my feelings. I truly appreciate all of your collective input. Here is what I'm going to say. I'm truly honored that you would consider me to be your bridesmaid. Since we last talked, I have taken on a lead role at my job and I am in the process of building a new home. Unfortunately, I cannot afford another time or financial commitment. I do appreciate that you would think of me, but I politely decline. Now for the top comments. I would meet in person and try to figure out what her bridesmaid expectations are. Then see if you can accommodate, or if you are interested in spending more time with her in wedding mode. Are you one of 6 bridesmaids paying for a bachelorette party in Vegas? Is it a small 50-person wedding and you will help make favors? Destination wedding? Do you get along with other bridesmaids? Honestly, the gift was lost in the mail/bridesmaid invitation card. Seems like it was never really sent or pretty shady. I wonder if someone dropped out and that's why she's asking you, or if there were other bridesmaids and a third person asked why you weren't included. This combined with the money she never repaid seems a bit shady, but I would still meet up with her to talk about it and see how much is left in the friendship. Next comment. Are you even friends? Can you comment on why your partner thinks you'll regret this? Because you speak really fondly of her. But then later it seems like your relationship is mainly business. That you've been paying for her support and patience. If you're actually friends though, I don't really see how you let your friendship dissolve so much over this amount of money. If I understand correctly, it's $150 for all 4 lessons. Making it less than $40 per lesson. Or was it $50 for each lesson? Either way it seems quite cheap considering you were having someone drive 1.5 hours one way for this one lesson. Considering you both cancelled on each other, no, it doesn't matter that it was out of your control. TBH, she should have just communicated that to you and gave the maybe $75 back since you both created delays to prevent the lessons. I think it's a bit brash of her not to give any refund. But it also seems like outside of the lessons she could give and whether she could give you the money back, you weren't really interested in her well-being. Personally, if I wanted to keep a relationship, I'd say congrats but not commit as a bridesmaid. Just a guest. And obviously not use her for lessons again. I don't think I would be chasing someone I'd consider a great supportive friend for $75, but that's why I asked if you're actually friends. Next comment. I agree. When I cancel if it's not with adequate notice, I'm still charged for the lesson because they aren't able to get someone else in that slot. Hour-and-a-half drive is way more than anyone I know would ever drive for a lesson without charging extra on top of that. Next comment. $150 is nothing in the scale of friendship. I get that it's not necessarily about the money. You said great things about her initially. The internal value of those things may be way more than the money, and worth the risk of attempting to connect again. I would tell her exactly what you told us. When we first met, you helped me greatly. You were patient, kind and positive. I was so happy that it evolved into a friendship. When I paid you for this last round of training and you not only left me hanging but didn't make an effort to pursue the friendship, I was very hurt. I'm sure being short on money was embarrassing for you, but you could have made an effort to make it up to me in other ways and keep the friendship going, and you didn't. I'm very happy that you are getting married and have found love. I would be happy to get closer and remedy the issues from this summer, but I wouldn't want to add that drama into your wedding. Obviously, feel free to use or ignore all of that, as you see fit. Next comment. She can't pay you back your $150 but she has the money to plan a wedding? Doesn't sound right to me. I wouldn't mind having to wait on money from a good friend if I know they're struggling financially, but a wedding sure as hell going to cost more than that. So she's basically paying for that with your money? Instead of using for something important like food and rent? Nah, I wouldn't go. And then kindly remind her of the money she owes you. And then ghost her. Next comment. It doesn't feel like you've really been friends with her for quite a long time. Maybe not actually ever. You said that she was patient, positive and kind at the start of your relationship. But you also said that she was initially your trainer/coach. You were literally paying her to be patient, positive and kind. If she wasn't, then you wouldn't have kept going back to her. My gut feeling is that the her you're seeing right now is the real her, because people can only put on an act for so long. And real friends don't steal from their other friends. If she was making an actual effort to repay the debt over time, even at $5 per week, then it wouldn't be a problem. Or even just making the effort to give you what you paid for, even if the sessions were very spaced out. But she's not doing any of that. And she isn't interested in looking at any other options either. She's made it very clear that you aren't a priority for her. To the point where you haven't even really talked to her in 6 months. And now she wants you to spend more money on her. Potentially hundreds/thousands of dollars, for someone who isn't even sorry that they stole $150 from you. No. Just no. If the amount she stole was higher, then I'd recommend a small claims suit, or whatever the appropriate level of action would be for the amount. But in this case I think you've paid $150 to learn that she's not your friend. It could have been a lot more expensive. The absolute most I would do is send her one final message. Thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to attend your wedding in any capacity. You can consider the $150 you took from me as my wedding gift. Best wishes. Then block her and never talk to her again. Next comment. Are you interested in rekindling the friendship or letting it die off? If the former, then this might be a good inroad to start a conversation about the money she owes you and how the way she handled it hurt you and your relationship. At this point, you really have nothing to lose. If you're not interested in her friendship, then simply respond not interested to her request. If you want to provide more information as to the reason why, that's entirely up to you. Next comment. She was a business associate who became more than an acquaintance who then stole from you. She is not a person that you have a personal relationship to be in her wedding. How can she even afford a wedding if she can't pay back $150? I'm a little salty here. I would reply thank you, I am honored that you thought of me. However, I'm afraid I don't support events when people have cheated me out of money. Consider that $150 your wedding gift since I'll never see it again. Hard no. Don't spend any more of your money supporting her when she literally stole from you and doesn't care. Next comment. I have friends I hadn't had a meaningful conversation in over a year or more, and a few months ago he was in the town I live in and we hit it off like no time had passed. Friendships don't require constant contact. It sounds like it is very possible this person just wants something out of you, but I think you should think about whether her motivation might be financial or not. Have you explained how the $150 has made you feel over time? $150 to most people over a friendship is something that would be let go in the situation you have explained, considering you've both canceled on each other several times. She may not realize how important it is to you to get that money back. Also, if neither of you can commit to even taking a few hours out of a day to meet in person to talk about this, maybe there really isn't much of a friendship there. Next comment. Do not allow her to come. She has disrespected and taken advantage of you and sounds like she will continue to do so. She is insisting to be your bridesmaid not for you, but for her. Bridesmaids are higher up the social ladder and are closer to the inner social workings of the particular wedding group. Why wouldn't you ask to be part of that, if your regular lifestyle is already built on making relationships and then abusing them financially and emotionally? I'm not saying your friend is a demon. I'm sure she's a lovely person in many respects. You should love and cherish every good moment you had together, because it's part of your history. The equation contains many positive elements. However, it takes time to get to know people. I have had people turn on me very quickly for no apparent reason. The reality is people get stressed, anxious and scared in these times and end up prioritizing themselves. Your friend cares about you, but nowhere near the extent she'd give her life for you. So you can't let yourself feel that way about her. It'd be a weak strategy. Instead, focus on yourself. Simply deny her the right to be your friend in this close respect until she demonstrates that she's really there for you. Because if she's not, inviting her into your circle could do so much more harm than good. Take care of your emotions, remove that which risks tearing your life down. Simply accept, feel gratitude for the good times, and politely indicate you'd like her. Next comment. I think you should do it. Talk about the money owed later. Way later. Probably even after her honeymoon, honestly. Because one day she will reflect and wonder why you guys haven't had a meaningful conversation in a while, and she'll come to you and ask. If she's asking you even after not talking for months, then you're probably one of the few people she really has. There's more to this. She's obviously a horrible freelancer, but that isn't really on you since you don't own the business with her or work for her. Keep the business separate. This is still your friend. Don't reject it over the $150 either, even though you're right. You don't want to fight during holidays or while she's preparing for a day that's special to her. See this through to the end. Again, there is more to this. Next comment. Seems like maybe your friend isn't very good with money. Hopefully her husband will be. Sometimes money stuff gets things screwed up. I wouldn't give her any more money, but I wouldn't end a friendship over a small amount of money. I would send you $150 without question if it would solve your problem. The main thing is she broke your trust. But I think you have a reduced friendship as a consequence. This might be her way of reaching out to increase the level of your friendship a little bit again. It is 100% her fault for not following through on her commitments to you, but it seems like it's 100% in your control to increase the quality of the friendship again if you wish. She could have chosen anyone to be her bridesmaids, but she chose you. However, if she asks for money to get through the wedding, or buy bridesmaids' dresses, it might be worth thinking twice. Next comment. My opinion is that a friend is not worth losing over $150. Even if they aren't a close friend. I'd gladly give that sum of money to a friend, even if it were a burden on me, if I knew they needed it. So really the question is this: do you love your friend enough to forgive them their debt, and support them at their wedding? Is their friendship worth more to you than $150?